Welcome everybody to the Protection and Management Series Open Day. I know we have one more arriving. My name is Simon Mills, so I'm a Group Director at UBM. I oversee the 7 brands that make up the Protection and Management Series. So today is very much an historic day. Of course, it's our first open day here at our new home, Excel, here in London. It's also the first time that we've run a mini exhibition for all our partners and suppliers next door, so I hope you made some good use of that. Today really is just about you guys. It's about you getting as many hints and tips as possible as you can to make sure when you come here in June you're well armed for a good exhibition. Just before I start, I've got Heather breathing down my neck, so I need to give a quick emergency procedure briefing, bearing in mind we run a health and safety show. We don't have any planned fire alarms. I should add we don't plan to have any fires either. So if there is a fire alarm, then we do need to exit the building, and the fire exit is out the back and turn to my left, so you're right. So first up, I'm just going to talk you through the agenda for today. I'm going to talk first just quickly about the Protection and Management Series and give you a quick update on that. And also I thought I'd give you a quick update on how this series is going and how the individual events are going. That'll take me about 5 minutes. I'm then going to hand you over to Ruth Galpine, who's our Group Marketing Manager. She's going to present with Simon Meager from Fleet 21, who are an exhibitor of Safety and Health Expo. They're going to present a session on how to make the most of exhibiting, so there'll be lots of helpful hints and tips in that. That's then going to be followed by Jim Curry. Jim is the Deputy Director of the AEO, which is the Association of Exhibition Organisers. That's the association that we're a member of as an organiser. He's going to talk you through the latest research around effective exhibiting, and in particular why exhibitions are still doing so well as a forum within the marketing mix. That'll then be followed by Jeremy Rees. He's the Executive Director at Excel. He'll talk you through the venue, latest developments with the venue, and how you can make the most of the venue. There'll then be a series of workshops, and what I'll do when they start, I'll explain those at the time and what the options are and which rooms you can go to. And then finally, around 3:20, if all goes to plan, we'll all be wrapped up by Simon Nowdy, who's the Chief Exec of Answers Training. He'll wrap the day up and he'll give his take on the do's and don'ts of exhibiting. I'll be back at the end just to explain how the tour of EcoBill works, and then more importantly, the networking drinks. So just my bit very quickly. So the Protection and Management Series that you're all part of, for those that don't know, what glues us together is that it's about protecting and managing people, information and buildings. Now, of course, this series has been together for a number of years now, but the point I want to make here is that in particular what we've managed to do with the move to London is glue the series together even more. And there's a number of benefits of doing that, which I'll talk you through in the next 5 minutes. So just a quick reminder for everybody as to what this series is made up of. So there are, as I say, 7 key brands, if I go around clockwise. Serving the security market is IFSEC International, which I'm sure a lot of you hear from IFSEC. And then we have Safety and Health Expo, IOSH Conference, which is a conference we run here in this suite, and we run that on behalf of IOSH, who are a safety association. Service Management Expo, the Facilities Show, Firex International, and of course our new launch event, Energy and Environment Expo. So just a quick reminder of what that brings us. So in total, there are 1,700 exhibitors across the series. Over 45,000 attendees, and we have over 400 hours of education on the show floor. And it's worth pointing out that compared to where we're at the NEC a year ago, we're currently 15% up on exhibitor numbers. We have more than 40% more education than we had at the NEC, and we expect at least a 10% increase in visitors. And Ruth will talk through this in her presentation, but certainly the early signs are very encouraging in terms of visitor delivery. Again, I'm sure a lot of people have seen this, but I just thought I'd bring it up for those that haven't. This is how this series is knitted together. So if you're in IFSEC, you'll take the whole of the South Hall. So when you do the tour later on, you can get your bearings. But IFSEC take the whole length of the South Hall. Across the top, which we call the North Hall, we're currently in the top right-hand corner in the Capital Suite, which is where the IOSH conference will run. And then going from right to left, we have in green Safety and Health Expo, which obviously is logical and be next to the IOSH conference. Then Energy and Environment Expo is in purple. If we keep going, Service Management Expo is in the yellow. The Facilities Show, which sits very much at the heart of everything that we do, is in orange. And in the top left-hand corner in red, of course, is Firex. So I guess the question is, what are the benefits of this complete series? But in particular, why is it doing so well now that we've moved to London? Well, I'd divide this into 3 main areas. So 1, market synergies. 2, venue availability or venue ownership, I think is probably more appropriate. And 3 is about, I just want to talk about visitor experience. So market synergies. So of course the series has a number of market synergies, and it allows our marketing team to cross-market to various job functions. So a good example would be the remit of a facilities manager. Of course, stretches way beyond just a facilities show. In fact, it stretches across the entire series. Similarly, nearly all our visitors, their organisations will have a remit across security, safety and fire. And also, the combined offer allows us to market more effectively to other key groups, so SMEs or international visitors. And what we're finding is that the move to A, to London, and B, to Excel are allowing us to make much more use of those synergies. And again, Ruth will touch on some of those later. The second important point is venue ownership. So obviously the full series gives us scale, which allows us to move to London, in particular Excel. And Excel is, quite frankly, probably one of the leading venues in the world. But for me, I think the important bit is it allows us to take the entire venue. So as an organiser, we have the entire venue for that week, which means we have the full attention of the venue, and it means we can work very closely with the venue to make sure that we deliver a really good service to you, the exhibitors and the visitors. And that's something we never had at the NEC, because of course the NEC is a vast place, but the difference with Excel is we take the entire venue. And then thirdly, another huge advantage of being part of a bigger series is around the visitor experience. And again, this plays into Excel's hands beautifully. And this year we're launching a brand new visitor experience program, which I'm just going to very quickly talk you through. So the visitor experience program for 2014 comes under two key headings. So the first is about eliminating sacrifice, and the second is about optimizing delight. So you're probably wondering what that means. So eliminating sacrifice is about taking away all the things that we know our visitors don't like. So that could be queues in registration, that could be poor catering, poor temperature control, that could be issues with toilets, navigation, signage. It's all the things that as visitors we know people don't like. So part one of the plan is make sure we eliminate all those factors. Secondly, once we've done that, what we're concentrating then is what we call optimizing delight. So this is about the wow factor. What can we do to really make the visitor experience exceptional? And ultimately what we're trying to do here is make sure that the visitors are in the right frame of mind to come and do business with you, the exhibitors. So here's just a flavour of some of the things that we're doing in 2014. I'll say one of the big game changers is the showmakers. This is an idea that we've shamelessly ripped off the 2012 Olympics, obviously the success of the games makers. And we're going to have up to 100 people dotted all around the exhibition, both in the boulevard and in the halls, to help visitors, to help them navigate around the show, to help show them where things are, just to make sure that their experience is as good as possible, and obviously ultimately help find you guys the exhibitors. This year we're having one event guide and one app. So again, it's the best of both worlds, where visitors can find information on their individual shows, but also more importantly, find out which parts of the series are relevant to them, so we all benefit from the crossover visitors. We're going to make the boulevard a much more exciting place to be. There'll be live music, there'll be mobile catering, there'll be entertainers. We just want to make sure that visitors can refresh themselves from the hustle and bustle of the halls in a really nice environment. There's seamless movement around the series, so once visitors come in at either end in the registration point, and you'll see that later, they're then free to move however they want to around the series, so there are no barriers at all to moving around the series. For the first time ever, we're going to have free Wi-Fi in the halls and in the boulevard. And we've also had several meetings with Excel catering teams to make sure the catering teams are pulling out all the stops. So that's, they deliver an exceptional service there. So that's the series. I'm just going to very quickly give the highlights for each individual show, literally just one or two bullets on each point. I mean, the general point is that all 7 events are in fantastic shape, probably the best shape they've ever been in. So the result of the move is having a huge impact. If I start with IFSEC, which is the biggest, IFSEC will have a 10% increase in exhibitors. We're projecting over 600 exhibitors with 100 new companies. We're investing heavily in new features such as the Install Alive program, Safe Cities Expo, and we now have over 7 education theatres on the show floor. Firex International, those who work in this market will know that we're annualising this event, and London has very much been the catalyst to allow us to do this, but it's also given us the chance to completely re-engineer the event proposition, and the team have been working very hard at doing that. For example, we've doubled the amount of education on offer, and also this year, look out for the launch of Firex TV. You'll see huge screens in the boulevard and within Fire, the show, where there'll be regular updates about the show, interviews with exhibitors, interviews with visitors. And if this works well, which we're sure it will, we intend to roll this out across the series in 2015. So a fantastic pilot there from the Fire team. The facility show is continuing its very high growth curve. We're expecting it to be 24% bigger this year at Excel. Again, major new feature investment. One of the highlights for me is the show arena, which will incorporate a Meet the Buyers program, a new VIP area, a new networking bar, and a new buyer request service. Service Management Expo is 30% up year on year. It's now big enough to have gained its own critical mass to become its own standalone event. So again, a great success story there. Energy Environment Expo is a new launch we're doing this year, which is welcome into the family. We expect over 75 exhibitors. That's tracking well ahead of expectations, so we're delighted with that launch. And last, but by no means least, Safety and Health Expo, which is enjoying fantastic success as a result of the move, or A, the move to London, but B, the co-location with the IOSH conference. We're 25% bigger than we are in 2014. We're now going to have over 300 exhibitors, I think, for the first time. We're almost sold out. In fact, we're trying to find more space for the Chi guys to sell. And again, some very exciting new features. And I think the highlight for me is the return of the catwalk, which I'm looking forward to seeing in June. So that's me done. I just wanted to give a little flavour of how the series was going. I'll be back later, as I say, just to explain how the workshops go. Now, of course, I couldn't do justice to all the shows, so if anyone has any particular questions about any particular brand, please grab someone with a UBM badge. We can either answer the questions ourselves or point you to the right people in the room who work on those particular events. But that's it from me. I'll now hand you over to Ruth and Simon.